Welcome, welcome to our first Friday Night Live of the new year, January 16th, 2026. We are going to go over our announcements. And then, there we go. All right, so next Zoom call is Friday, February 20th. Even though the holidays are past us, gift certificates are always available. If you know someone who could benefit from a foot bath, contour lights, anything, or if someone wants to get you a gift because you are all such nice people, tell them to get you a gift certificate from Alternative Health. And just tell your friends about us. We have a new client, her and her husband are on programs. She posted the other day, she was at the gym working out, and she tagged us in her post and started, talking about her experience with us. And we got like 6 new people following us on social media. Not that that's the end all, but it helps to spread the word. And on our Zoom call next month, February 20th, if there's something that you want to learn about, have us talk about, give us a call, let us know, send us an email, and we will do our best. And we've been doing some video testimonials. So I've got a few of them on our YouTube channel, same place to find our Zoom recordings. I've also shared them on our social media. So you can check those out. And if you'd like to do one, we'd be happy to take care of that for you as well. And again, do you want to say something?
No.
Oh, what?
No.
John loves to talk, not me, but him. So if you have any groups that's looking for speakers, give us a call. And we are doing a group detox starting February 2nd, which is a Monday. So if you haven't detoxed in a while, or if you have, we detoxed back in the beginning of December. So we are going to do it again and keep our bodies healthy. So get your supplements, call if you're not local, we'll mail them to you. And if you're local, schedule time to come in. Okay. All yours.
Hello, everybody. As I talk here, I'm gonna try to smile more because Patty says I don't smile enough when I'm when I'm talking and doing videos and stuff. She always stands behind the microphone grinning at me. So I'm gonna work at it. Okay. So Heather, help me because you smile all the time. Okay. So yes, welcome everybody. And like Patty said, we want to make these classes informative. We want to do things. And so I kind of wanted to get to some basics here. And, the new year comes, and whether it makes a difference to anybody or not, you can stay in the light. I don't think she wants to sit next to me. I use deodorant and
That's
everything
usually
today.
you. That's
So,
too far away.
I'm so tired of hearing on the commercials, things like, new year, new you. No, it's not a new you. Okay. It's the same you. And the only way we change the you is to make some changes. And I kind of want to make this in a conversation basis, and I would love to have some input from people. And I might even call on some people and ask a question. Maybe you can answer and we can take it from there. So we don't change. We don't just go out and change and things happen. We have to start making things happen. We have to start looking at the basics. We have to start thinking, okay, how do I get to where I want to be? So, for example, we want to be better at everything we do, whether it's our health, whether it's our weight, whether it's our relationship, whether it's our faith, whether it's our financial being. everything we'd like to have better. And most of the time, what people do is they say, well, you know what? I want to lose 40 pounds or whatever it might be. And I personally feel that's wrong. We have to start with the basics. And the first thing we have to do is we have to make a decision. We have to decide that we're going to make a change. And we have to decide that we're going to start on the journey. If somebody wants to run a marathon, you can't wake up one morning and run the marathon. You'll destroy yourself. You just physically can't do it. What you want to do is start walking. If your goal is to run the marathon, you have to start with something, some movement, getting the body ready. And you can't just go out and start sprinting or something like that. You have to work it. And I believe that's the same for everything we do, no matter what it is. Somebody wants to buy a new home, but you don't have the money to do it. You have to get a job. You have to or get a better job, or you have to work maybe sometimes a second job in order to start building that revenue in order for you to do it. So when it comes to health, I want to think about that in the same way. First, it's a decision to make it happen and commit to doing it. And when we commit, we have to set a basic plan and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And we're going to start small. And you pick something and you say, this is what I'm going to do. So if I want to lose weight, the first thing I have to do is think of my weakness. What is my weakness? My weakness is, when it comes to weight, is perhaps eating too much. I'm just going to use that as an example. So then I have to commit and make a decision that I am only going to eat one helping per meal. No more. I don't care how good it was. I don't care how hungry I was when I started. That is what I'm going to do. Now, in order to do that, it takes discipline. And discipline means it's easy for me to say I'm only going to have one helping, because when I start to eat, it looks good. It's there's some stuff sitting on the table or back on the stove, and it's so easy to change. But you have to have the discipline to say, I'm not having more. Now, in the beginning, my body will say, you want more, because that was the old way. When there was food there, I would eat it. And why the old thing when I grew up is eat everything, clean up your plate. We're not going to throw anything away. So there's a lot of starving people in whatever country. I'm sure some of you heard that story, okay? They would love to have this food. Well, that's the old way. The new way is saying, I'm going to put this away, and this is going to be lunch tomorrow or breakfast in the morning, whatever it might be. So we have to have the discipline to do it every time we eat. And I'm just using this as an example, and we can go into some other things. Then we have to have consistency. And the consistency is every single meal, every single day we do it. And there's a battle. And again, it doesn't matter if you're working out, there's a battle about getting up and going doing it. Consistency. Okay. You tell yourself this is what you're going to do, and you pick that thing that you're going to change. And what I'd like everybody to do is be thinking as we're talking, what is the thing you want to change? And it doesn't have to be weight loss. It doesn't have to be something to do with health even. It can be your relationship. It can be your faith. It can be so many things. What are you going to do? And you pick that and say that on this topic, this is what I'm going to change. And then you get into the consistency of it and make it happen. Because when we use consistency, then what happens is it becomes result oriented. So if I go 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And every time I eat, I have one helping. What happens is the results is that I feel good about myself because I made a decision and I stuck with that decision. And there's not one person listening that won't agree that when you make a decision and you follow through, you don't really feel good about yourself. You compliment yourself, even if it's subconsciously. I mean, just in your own mind. We do that all the time. Okay. When we detox, you make it through the 3 days of liquid. I know everybody goes, you know what? I made it. I feel so good. I'm happy for myself. And so you have to say and become consistent on what you're going to do, because then it becomes, you start seeing the results, and the results are you feel good. In this case, my clothes fit a little bit better. I'm spending less money on food because I'm not eating as much. I don't have to cook as often because I'm using some of the leftover. There's so many results that come from these top 3 things: the decision, the discipline, the consistency. So in this case, it's not just about your weight loss. It is about other things that it's going to branch off. It's going to be like a branch. And all of a sudden you're going to say, wow, I don't have to go to the grocery store as often because I'm not eating as much. I feel better. I'm not having gas or bloating because I'm not eating as much. I'm sleeping better because I'm not eating as much. And that becomes the result. So the result isn't just that, oh, I'm going to lose weight, that X number of pounds I mentioned. It's other things that start. And then it becomes, from that point, it becomes your identity. We all have an identity, some good, some not so good. All right. So, and that's our own identity. It doesn't mean it's an identity for anybody else. It's our own identity about ourselves. You've all heard, oh, watch self-talk. Watch the way you think about yourself. So if I overeat, and we all do it, we say to ourselves, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Why did I do that? How foolish is that? That's negative self-talk. Now, should there ever be negative self-talk? Yes. If we do something we shouldn't do, we should have self-talk. Okay. We should talk to ourselves and say, that was wrong. Okay. I shouldn't do that. But then we have to get back into making the decision, having the discipline to do it, having the consistency so we can see the results, so we can see a new identity. We can see a new us, myself. And what is that self? Okay. So I'm proud of myself. I pat myself on the back. Now, what happens is other people start noticing that we've changed. We become more confident. We become, whether it's the weight loss, no matter what it is, people start seeing it. So then that becomes an identity with other people. And when we have a positive identity, other people will follow you. Okay. When people see you change in a positive way, and I reiterate positive, okay, but people will also follow people that change negatively too. But when the thing we're talking about now is positive change, that's when people start following. So Patty mentioned the young couple, that the young lady that put her and her husband are doing the program,
Mhm.
but she put on. So the people started following because they saw positivity in that person. So when people see that, everybody's looking for something positive, a way to move positive. We all want better. And that's what makes people follow, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whatever it might be, people start following that. Now, if they start following you and you go negative, then oftentimes people will turn negative because they look to you as the leader or the person they should follow. So once it becomes identity, what happens is it becomes freedom. You just start doing it without thinking about it. It's just your way. It's your way that you're going to do things. Okay. It's the way you're going to feel good about yourself. So once we get to that point, which is a 6th step, is the freedom of not worrying about that you're going to eat too much because you have set a pattern. You've trained your body and your mind on what to do. And I'm using this as an example. So if you're going to be running a marathon, as you move through the consistency and the results, and you start running 3 miles and 5 miles, and that becomes your identity, getting up and moving and doing the things. And then all of a sudden, when people say, why do you do that? Doesn't matter, because it makes me feel good. This is my goal, and I'm achieving my goal. So first, it's a decision, which has to be done first. You have to decide what you're going to change. Then you have to garner the discipline to do it. And then you have to have the consistency to do it, to be able to see the results, to show what the identity for yourself is, to ultimately end up feeling the freedom of accomplishing that particular goal. So what I would like everybody to do, and ideally you can think it, you can write it down, and I'd like some input if you don't mind. What is your goal? And not for the new year. Let's get away from the new year goal, okay? See, there's a lot of easy ways to do things. There's a lot of easy ways to lose weight. Watch TV will tell you, go get the shot. Well, you might be easier to lose because you don't have to set, the only decision you have to do is say, I'm going to stick myself with a needle and put some drugs in my body. But the discipline is that you don't have to really do much to do it. Okay. Yeah. You let something else do it for you. So the other thing is, on those things, you have to look at the negative side. And I'm just using this as an example again. You have to do it the rest of your life, because if you don't, doctors will tell you the weight will come on so fast. And when you do it, you lose muscle. So what are you gaining? You're gaining some weight loss, but you're losing muscle. When you lose muscle, you lose your immune system, because muscle creates a healthier immune system. You're pumping chemicals in your body, which most people, for the most part, know that they shouldn't be pumping chemicals in their body. So there's always an easy way to do things. And you know, if you were thinking about running a marathon, change your mind, I guess you can sit and watch people run it. That's easy, okay? But what you should do is think about, what is your goal for the next 3 months, the next 6 months, whatever it is. And if you have a piece of paper, and you should just write it down. This is what I want for myself. And whether it's health related, whether it's financial related, whether it's faith related, whether it's relationship related, whatever. And then you got to say, what is the first step, the first basic step I need to do to reach that goal? And that's where you have to start. Don't think about that, a 40-pound weight loss. That's down the road. That's going to happen if we do those things we just talked about. Don't think about that house that you're going to have, that big old house with 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths and all that stuff, because that's not really there for you. It's what do you have to do and commit to do in order for that to happen down the road. Whether it's this year, next year, doesn't really matter. That's what you need to do. Is there anybody who would like to say what they would like to change, so we can talk a little bit about what steps they might want to start out at? So I'd like to get a little conversation if we can. Any volunteers?
Yes, I like to reduce my stress and protect my mental health. Also, be proactive about my health long term, not just short term fixes.
Okay. So that was several things. Let's pick one to start. What is the one thing of those that you mentioned, you would like to work on?
Reducing the stress and protecting my mental health.
Okay. So let's say reducing stress, protecting mental health. Okay. So if anybody else wants to chime in and help this young lady, that's fine. We're open. Okay. So when we say, I want to reduce my stress, we hear this all the time, right?
Yes, we
Okay.
do.
I want to reduce my stress. So what you want to do is you want to set a realistic goal. Okay. So I want to reduce my stress. Well, my first question would be, where's the stress coming from? Okay. Number one, is it coming from work? Is it coming from your health? Is it coming from family? Is it coming from, your spiritual life? There's many things, and you want to narrow that down to something and say, this is my biggest stressor. Because we have stress in many things in our life. It's not just one thing. Okay. So I look at myself with stress. I have a business. I have a family. They stress me. Business can be stressful. The people I work with can be stressful. Not the people I work with, of course. But all of that can be stress. So if I want to reduce my stress, I say, okay, which one of those things is the most stressful for me? And then I'm going to work on that one thing, because I can't work on all of it at once. It's impossible. You can't do it. People say, well, you just have to suck it up and do it. No, that doesn't work. So what I would say is, okay, so you have to, and you don't have to say what it is. You have to say, okay, this is where my stress is coming from. And then narrow it down to that particular thing and think about, what is it that I need to do to make this stress less? Now, when it comes to stress, sometimes, no, I won't even say when it comes to stress. It comes to weight loss, you have to give up things, right? When it comes to stress, sometimes we have to make changes that is hard, really hard. So wherever that stress is coming from, there's probably other things or people involved. If it's people, you need to pick out the person that is creating the stress, and you need to make an appointment to sit down with that person and talk to that person amicably. You don't want to go into it saying, you know what, Patty, you just make me mad. Okay. I just struggle being around you. Okay. That's not going to work, because that puts the other person up in a fight or flight. Okay. Because they're going to defend themselves. They are not just going to say, yeah, you're right. Patty's not going to say to me, you're right. I'm just hard to work with. Okay. She's going to defend herself, and well, she should, because it sounds like an attack. So you want to, before you do it, so if you go back, you have to make a decision to have that conversation. And then when you have the conversation, you set the guidelines. This is what I can deal with. After you find out what there is, and then you have to set the parameters, and you have to have the discipline to live up to it. And if people cross the line, you can't tolerate that. Okay. And then you have to have the consistency to be that way all the time. You can't be, okay, Patty, you can do this if you want to, we're just talking, Patty, I can't deal with you coming in late. Okay. So from now on, and then next week she comes in late and I say, well, it's okay today, because that sends a mixed message. You can't have the mixed message. You have to have the discipline to say, that's not what we agreed on. And you have to start working from there. Now, can that create a little bit more stress while you're doing it? Yes. Just like if I only eat one portion, one helping per meal, that can create some stress until my brain gets a hold of it that it's okay, or my body says, you can live on that. Okay. Instead of, 2 steaks, you can live on 1 steak. All right. So it seems like it's creating more stress, but in reality, the end goal is to set the guidelines, be consistent, so that you get the chance to see results. So my suggestion to you would be to figure out, number one, make the decision, what is causing my stress? Make the decision to address that, and then go the rest of the way. But when it comes to people, sometimes we have to make some significant changes and let people know that you're willing to make the changes so that you maintain good mental health. Other people can destroy your health, your mental health and physical health. Okay. Now, did that answer anything for you?
Yes, those are valid points. Thank you.
Okay. Now, when it comes to your health, you have to determine what part of your health you want to change. But you don't want to work on too many things at once. Okay. People say, well, that's multitasking. No, it isn't. We don't multitask. All right. Nobody really multitasks. That's a myth. And if you want proof of that, I will tell you the next time you're driving down the road and you can't find the address you're looking for and you have your radio on, you will automatically turn the radio off so that you can concentrate to figure out where you're at. Guaranteed. Okay. Mm-hmm. We don't so you can't try to change too many things at once. You have to pick it. And most of the time, the thing that most bothers you or is your biggest problem is creating other problems in your life. So if you take the one thing you just know you got to fix, some of the other things will fall into place as you fix that problem. Whether it's relationships, whether it's spiritual, whether it's health, whatever it might be, other things fall into place because everything works together. Okay. Anybody else? Nobody? Okay.
John, this is
Yes.
Judy. I'm working on doing a digital detox right now. Just trying to stay away from, the phone.
Okay.
And I'm not on a lot of social media, but I do watch, podcasts, YouTube, and the gentleman that does this program, you sign up for it, just modules online, said, all these statistics of how much people are actually on there, even just looking at it, taking pictures, and how it impacts the brain and so much more.
Okay.
Especially, for younger people that aren't, it's for all people, but younger people are missing so many opportunities of being human. He has a website called humanality.org.
Okay, but are you asking how?
So I'm trying to do that. No, I'm trying to just not be on it as much.
Okay. So,
and I think that will affect so many other things, like you said, because sometimes at night I'm on it, and I think that it will be helpful in other areas.
So the first thing you need to do, you need to make the decision that you are going to limit your time on the phone, regardless. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
You have to make, that's the decision you have to say. And then you have to say to yourself, how much time, you look at how much time, because it tells you every week how much time you spend on your phone. Okay. And then you say, so let's hypothetically say it says 4 hours a day. And you say, okay, you have to tell yourself, this is how much time I am going to spend on the phone. That's your goal. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to make a decision, number one, that you are going to cut down the amount of time. And then just like eating, being on the phone takes a lot of discipline because we've gotten so used to being on the phone. We carry it everywhere. I got mine sitting right here. Patty's got hers sitting there. And to be honest, we justify having the phone. And what is the justification? Well, geez, what if something happens? Okay. Well, it wasn't that many years ago. Nobody had cell phones. And I don't know how anybody survived but it seemed like people were okay. Not knowing everything that everybody does. Okay. So once you decide that, you have to say, I'm not going to have my phone on active mode. You know, you can have it in your purse, you can have it somewhere, but I'm not going to be looking at stuff on the internet or social
Right,
media
right.
or whatever. And these are the
Yep.
hours that I am, or the time that I'm going to do it, because you know your schedule. So if it's right after
Mhm.
dinner, you say, I'm going to spend a half an hour on social media every day, and that's it. Then you need to
Mhm.
have the discipline
Mhm.
to do it. And then you have to set a timer so that when that time is up, that 30 minutes, you shut it off and have the discipline to do it. Even if you're right in
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
middle of listening to something, even if you're
Right.
right in the middle of scrolling or whatever it is, you have to say that
Mhm.
time is up. And then you have to have the
Right.
consistency, because just like eating, your brain wants to go back, because if you think about what the phone does, it stimulates the brain. Okay. It incites the brain.
It's a dopamine. It's a
Well,
dopamine that's
whatever
addictive
it
to
is,
young
yes,
people. Yeah, that's
it
what you
is. But
said, and it's true.
whether, but for people that don't understand dopamine and stuff, doesn't matter. It incites the brain. So we have a
Right.
tendency, because of habit and the dopamine levels, if you want to put it that way, to go back to it. It's an addiction, just like alcohol, just like drugs, just like food, just like smoking. It's an addiction. And that's what's happened to our society. Then you have to have the consistency to do it every single day. You can't say, well, you know what? It's Sunday, so I got more time, so I'm going to extend it. No, because once you do that, then what happens is like me eating on a Sunday. Well, this is my cheat day, so I can have extra food because I'm going to reward myself for the 6 days that I didn't do it. That's foolish. So what you say is, it doesn't matter what day it is, because if I have more time, I'm still going to use my half hour for the phone. But now, because I have more time on Sundays, I'm going to have more time to go for a walk. I'm going to have more time to visit with people. I'm going to have more time for whatever the
Right.
other things that we don't get done because we're on that darn phone. And that is a big
Oh,
problem.
I'm sorry. He talks about a light phone that he uses, and it's only for texting, calling, and directions. And then he has another platform, so you don't have to have that around you.
Well,
Just, because it's
if
tempting to some people, they
if you're
do get
following
addicted
somebody,
to it.
then that's fine. I'm just telling you, from my
Yeah.
perspective, the way you should do it to be able to get yourself off the phone. Okay. Some
Right.
people sit on the phone at work, at home, at everywhere. They always have to have their phone. And we as a society think, okay, I can call Judy anytime, day or night, and she's going to have her phone there. She'll answer it and just we'll chat. And you know how much time gets taken up on the phone? And then we turn around and say
Right.
things like, we hear this all the time. I don't have time. I don't have time. I get people telling me I don't have time to take my supplements. I don't have time to
Prepare my food.
Mhm.
to, yeah,
meal
to
prep.
prepare food, so I have to get fast food. I don't no, but if you looked at how much time you spend on your phone, you would have time. Okay.
You would have time.
But
You're
you
right.
have to set
Absolutely.
realistic goals on it. I'm not saying you have to
Yeah,
go
that's
cold
right.
turkey, but you have to set
Right.
realistic goals. And then, just like everything else, have the discipline to do it, stay consistent, and then the results will come, because you'll have more time and you'll start saying, well, I have more time to start knitting or
Mm.
golfing or whatever
Yeah.
things are that you want to do. Okay.
Yeah, everybody has a different prescription, depending on your lifestyle
Well,
but
okay. Does
but
that help
see,
at all?
yeah, what you talked
Okay.
about? Absolutely.
What I just said. Yeah. So tell me, who else? Anybody else? Nobody? We got such a quiet group, so shy.
Hannah,
I guess for me, I was doing really well and I was really happy and I fell off the wagon after the holiday. So I just can't keep this yo-yo going anymore.
Okay. All right.
so that was a decision you made
To do what?
to she realized that she can't keep the yo-yoing going.
Okay. What I think everybody needs to understand that when you fall off the wagon, no matter what it is, it's not the end all. Okay. Everybody falls off of the wagon in some part of their life at some time here and there. Okay. So oftentimes we start feeling guilty about it, and that makes it harder to get back on the proverbial wagon. And we've got to stop that. So one of the signs we have of people that come here that see it, and it's right in our well check room, and I'm looking at it now. It says, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Okay. So if somebody in the next 10 seconds can tell me who said that, I'll give you an extra gift. You got 5 seconds left. Anybody want to tell me who the author of that is? Time's up. Winston Churchill. Okay. So Anna, you can't be angry at yourself for falling off the wagon. What we have to be angry at ourselves about is not getting back on the wagon. Okay. Once we fall off, if we just let it drag us behind, then that's what we should be angry at ourselves about. So what you have to understand is when you fall off the wagon, what happens is it starts affecting our mental health, our mind. We start thinking that we're, for lack of better words, and I'm not trying to put any words in anybody's head, but that we're failures, we're losers, we can't do it. And that is the negative self-talk that you got to get rid of. Once you fall off the wagon, you have to go back to the basics and make a decision to do what, Anna? Get back on the wagon.
Get back on, yeah.
Okay. Because if you've been on the wagon for a long time, here's what happens. Your body knows how to do it. You know how to do it. Like you said, when you were on and you were happy, and you were, okay? A happy Anna is a lot of fun to be around. An unhappy one, well, let's talk about that later. Just kidding. Okay. But the thing is, you know how to do it. So it's easier for you to get back on the wagon as long as you tell yourself, I got to make that decision. I'm not staying off that wagon. I'm back on. And you get on it. All right. So we can blame the holidays. We can blame other people, but reality, it's our choice to get back on. It's our choice. So you make the decision that, you know what, I'm not going to continue this off the wagon thing. And then you develop, because you've already had discipline, because you've done it before. So it's just opposite of people that were not doing the right things. It's easy to fall back into that, but it's just as easy to fall back into the good stuff if you've been doing it for a while. Okay? Because you know how good you felt, right? So you have to look at and think, how good did I feel when I was good? And I'll give you an example of myself and tell on myself a little bit. Every once in a while, I get home late at night and I'll eat something that I shouldn't because it's quick. And I'll make a confession. It wasn't that long ago. Got home late. I took tuna fish. Tuna fish is okay, but I put some mayonnaise in it. I didn't sleep as well that night. And I said to myself the next morning, why did I do that? Number one, I was lazy. Okay. It was easier, quick, instead of cooking something like I should. Number two, I just said to myself, I'm not doing that again. Done. Because I know the good side. But you have to make that decision and stick with it. And every once in a while, we need to get punched in the nose a little bit to say, you know what? No, that wasn't the right way to go. Okay. So don't feel bad about it. Just make the decision to get back on the wagon and tell yourself you can and you will do it. And then you just have to do it. Now, when it comes to eating, if you're off the wagon, the first thing you have to do, Okay, you have to go through your house and get rid of the food that's keeping you off the wagon and throw it away. Not eat it, throw it away. All right, not give it away, because why would you give garbage to somebody else? All right, and when you throw it away, that's discipline. Because I've done that. I've bought something where I just knew I shouldn't eat it, and I've thrown the whole package away in the trash, opened it up, thrown it away, because I just said, you know what? Yeah, I wasted the money, but it was better to waste the money and not hurt myself than it was to waste the money and hurt myself. And I've done that. I'm be honest with you, because sometimes my brain goes, oh, that would really taste good. So get rid of it so that it's not there and tempting, because it'll call your name. Trust me. Okay. So
I
make
got
that
a question, John. I'm sorry. Did you
Sure.
throw away the mayonnaise?
You know what? Well, no, because my sister lives in the house. She would have bought another jar. Casey, I think you said enough anyways now. Now, no, but you got to get rid of it and you got to get in your head. But when it's stuff like that you're in control of, get rid of it. Don't have it. Okay. Make that decision, have the commitment and the discipline to do it and the consistency to stay there, because the happier you are, the longer and the better it feels.
True,
That help, Hannah?
true.
Okay. Clean out your stuff. Whatever it is that's keeping you off the wagon, like you said, I can't get back on. Whatever it is, get rid of it. If it's not there, you can't have it. You might think about it, and that's okay, because that's what our brain does.
And if it's your friends inviting you out to dinner and a glass or two or three of wine, every now and then you just tell them no, or when you go and you just don't drink the wine. Just have a healthy meal and drink water. Okay.
Thanks.
Who else? There's some good stuff.
Yeah. Georgiana, did you have something?
Oh, well, the first one, what John said about portion control
Mm-hmm.
and being healthy, eating less.
Okay. Give me your thoughts.
Well, I know the first thing I have to do is detox.
I think I've called you a few times, but that's okay. Yes. Detoxing is discipline. Okay. And I hope this person that's on here doesn't mind me saying this, but there's a person on here that's just did a detox this week. June, can I say what you told me the other day?
Yeah, sure.
So June, I believe it was in a text, wasn't it, June?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so June texted me, and she was on her second day of liquid, if I can find it here. And I'm just going to read it because I thought this was so good. And she said, okay, here it is. She said, oh, just an update, parentheses, day 2 of liquid. It's almost 3 p.m. and I feel like it's about 9 a.m. No afternoon slump. Thank you for everything you do. No afternoon slump. Okay. So do you realize when none of us really want to go without eating? I think everybody would concur with that. But if it can adjust your body to make you feel good, where instead of feeling groggy and sluggish and stuff, all of a sudden you have alert. Do you know how much more stuff you can get done? Do you know how much better you are around other people when you feel that way? And that's a good part, like Anna said. She felt so happy. June was happy. Okay. Now the consistency, because you just detoxed, is to make sure you don't put stuff in your body that creates you to feel sluggish and with a slump. And that's the discipline that we have to maintain after detoxing, because it's easy to detox and then overeat. All right. There was a lady in here that not on tonight, but she finished her program. Patty sat with her and said, now, because she was going away for the holidays and she wanted to have a couple drinks and she wanted to this and she wanted that. I heard Patty say, be careful because you just finished a 2 month,
2 months.
program. And she came back in after she was gone. She said, I got so sick that I ended up in the hospital because she overdid it. And her body just said, that's not what is good for you. So she was in today again. I asked her, I said, how do you feel? She said, oh my God, after that situation, I feel great. I've been taking care of myself. That sometimes we need to run into the wall in order to have success. But going back to what June said, no afternoon slump. How good did you feel, June, that day?
Oh, real good. I was really
Okay.
glad I was doing it.
Yes. Okay. Really glad we're doing it.
And how are you feeling today?
Great.
Good.
Good.
Okay. And if you want to see some things, go on our site and look at some of the testimonials that were just done. I mean, it's amazing how good people feel, but the discipline is staying that way.
Right.
So in order to do things, you have to set realistic goals, not far off, big dream goals. All of you know I like to hit golf balls. If I said I want to become a scratch golfer, I can't just say that's what I want. Okay. It takes work and discipline. I don't have it in me to become that, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I just like to do it. But you have to set realistic goals. You have to understand in order to be healthy, we have to understand that we have to eat right. And no matter what your goal is, even if it's not about health, food matters.
Mhm.
Okay. Food matters. What you put into your body matters. You have to get some movement. And I'm not saying you have to go to the gym and you have to run 3 miles. I don't want you doing that. I want you stretching and moving and getting some balance and just things that you just get your circulation going. Come in here and get on the chi machines, different things like that. Okay. Moderate activity is really what we need. If you want to be an athlete, fine, that's great, but don't overdo it. All right. June, do you have a question?
Yeah. I was thinking today that I wasn't hungry at the time when I would normally be eating. So I was thinking, why do I do this to myself all the time? I just eat because, it's time to eat or just feel like eating. That's the worst part.
Yes.
Mhm.
If I feel like and I'm not hungry, why am I doing this to myself?
Okay. And I'm glad you're thinking that, because now you have to make the change and realize you do not, because we have habits. Habits are hard to break. We've been taught since we were little kids, you have to eat breakfast, you have to eat lunch, you have to eat, and this is the times you eat. And that's not really right. If you're not hungry, unless you're way underweight, don't eat. Wait for the next meal. But what you don't want to do is say, I'm not hungry for lunch at noon or 1, whatever it might be. And then all of a sudden you find yourself eating at 3 and then eating dinner again at 5 or 6, whatever. If you're going to skip it, skip it. Go to the next meal. Okay. So what people do is they'll say, well, I'm not hungry at 1, but I'll eat at 3. But then they're still going to eat dinner when they get home or whatever. You want to try to avoid that. If you're not hungry for lunch, you skip lunch. And then you don't need it. And you wait for the next meal to eat. Because then you will be hungry. Because what will happen is if you eat at 3, you probably won't be hungry at dinner, but you're still going to eat dinner. So it just makes it no gain. Okay. If you're not hungry, skip it. And I told Patty the other day, I didn't eat breakfast one morning because I ate more for dinner. I can't remember what it was. I ate the day before more, and I just woke up in the morning. I went, I'm not hungry at all. I had stuff ready to cook. I just put it back in the fridge and said, I'm not eating. And I was fine till lunch. It was good. Okay. Good question. But that's how you change your habits, because you got to do it and continually do it. Listen to your body.
And just push through it.
Yep.
It's good.
Next, you got to prioritize your mental health. Okay. If your mental health and you're overly stressed, you're never really truly going to get well. And that comes back to the idea that you have to take care of you. You have to take care of you. I had a long talk with a lady today who's in the clergy, and she tries to help everybody, and rightly so, because that's her job, that's her mission in life. But she's got to remember that she has to take care of herself in order to take care of other people. And everybody brings their problems to her, and she ends up absorbing those problems and taking those on. And that makes her, so you have to step back at times and say, this is all I can handle, and take care of you. This person told me I don't take my supplements because I just forget and I don't have time. You have time, okay? But you just have to start thinking of yourself first before you take care of everybody else. If you don't, you can't take care of them. So you have to practice the mindfulness, meditation, prayers, and seek out help. That's why I tell people all the time, if you need to talk, call. That we're here for that. We don't charge you for call us and listen, okay? We'll listen. We'll give you some ideas perhaps, or maybe we'll just listen. And that's okay. But you have outlets. You don't have to hold it in. And you have to rest enough. Kind of goes with the mental health. You have to rest. All right. So get enough sleep. Me personally, I just started listening to our Mind Fit at home. And I'm telling you, I was telling Patty today, and I'll be honest, I was listening to it last night. And as I was listening, I thought, this isn't working. This isn't going to help me. Same thing I tell clients not to be that way. Okay. They have an open mind, but we all have our issues. And I heard him finish. It was 22 minutes and 6 seconds because I looked at it before I started. I don't know when I fell asleep right after he was done. I slept so sound. I woke up this morning, I was like groggy. I could not believe what time it was. It was about an hour, 15 minutes later, and I normally wake up. I wasn't late, but normally I wake up way too early. And I felt good, and I feel good today. Okay. So sleep, if you need help and I want ideas to calm your body, let us know, because that's what we have. That's what we have access to. And of course, you have to hydrate. Okay. You have to keep your body clean. You have to let things move through your body, etc. You have to manage your stress. Okay. Make changes if you need to. Manage it. If you can't, if it's things you can't change, then you have to have the tools to calm your mind and your brain. Whether it's what we call a brain tap or Mind Fit for some of you, whether you need to get it to have it at home, to use it on a regular basis, whether it's coming in here, getting on the lights, our contour lights. It's so amazing. People will lay under the contour lights for 30 minutes and their metabolic age drops 3-4 years. Why? Because it's calming and relaxing. And we don't get enough of that. So sometimes you have to do some things in order to help you have to help yourself. You have to track your progress. Now, when I say that, we talked about the decisions, etc. You have to take note of what is changing so you can remember. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of people go through our programs, get well, and then they forget that they were sick. They forget how bad they felt, okay, until they fall back into the bad habits and they end up the way they used to be. So you want to track it. You want to make mental notes or something that, like June, second day of liquid, felt so good. No, you want to make note of that to yourself so that you remember. So the next time it's time to detox and you go, oh gosh, I don't really want to do that. Just remember how good you felt. Okay. So track your progress, whether you write it, you make note of it, you write some on a calendar, whatever. Do something so you remember. That'll help you stay motivated. And then the bottom line is you have to build healthy habits. You have to stay motivated for you. See, nobody should lose weight, get healthy, make money, go to church for somebody else. You do it for yourself. Okay? It's for you, nobody else. It's for you. Now, as you do those things, you become better for everybody else. But you're not doing it for somebody else. When somebody comes in here and says, I want to lose weight because my husband wants me to. No, unless you want to, it's not going to work. You have to want to be healthy. If you want to stay unhealthy, you want to keep going to the doctors and keep taking medicines and because your colon's messed up or your racing heart, do it. It's okay. But you're not doing that for anybody else. You're doing it for yourself. And, there's an old saying, what you refuse to change, you're choosing. So if you're not going to change the fact that you're unhealthy, you're just choosing to be unhealthy. That's it. Nobody's going to get on your case about it from here, at least. Okay. So we choose what we want. So you've got to build the healthy habits and you got to keep yourself motivated, but it's hard to stay motivated by yourself. That's where we come in to help you and motivate. That's why we call you regularly and remind you and leave messages, etc., hoping you'll hear them and say, I need to think about me. Okay. And then you have to reflect, obviously. You have to define what you've done. You have to be proud of yourself for making changes. All right. You have to just all the positive things that you've done, whether it was last year or 10 years, things in your marriage or your children, whatever. Think about it. Okay. Build yourself up. Make yourself feel good because all of you are good. You have to choose to do things. You have to have something that will trigger your get past your resistance and your procrastination. You have to have a reason. You have to have something that says to you, this is what I need to do. And then you have to
choose to do it.
You have to do it. You have to do it. Okay. We've all sat around and thought about things that we needed to do. And then it just gets away until either it's too late or the change is so much harder than it would have been had you not procrastinated.
And it's the negativity, like saying, oh, I have to do a detox.
Yeah.
Well, no, you choose to do a detox because you want to feel better.
Or I have to eat better, or I have to go to work, or I have to do anything. I mean, it's just
choose to do it.
Yeah, you have to choose. And then once you start doing enough, it becomes a habit. And then stay consistent. Okay. You have to stay consistent and set your goal, be accountable to your goal, look in the mirror, talk to yourself, love yourself, but talk to yourself. Sometimes you might need to scold yourself. Sometimes you might need to say, you know what? You got to quit thinking negative. You got to think better of yourself. You got to do a little bit more. You got to push yourself a little harder. It's not all fun and games when you talk to yourself. Sometimes you got to be firm with yourself, like you would if you a child or somebody you were in charge of. That's the way life is. We have to be accountable to ourselves just as much as we're accountable to anything else in life. That's what I have for tonight. I hope it resonated with people and things that we can think about and things we want to do for ourselves and take care of ourselves. Because if you don't love yourself, it's pretty hard for anybody else to love you. That's an old saying, okay? You got to love yourself because nobody else will love you just by you wanting them to. You have to love you. That makes them, and sometimes you got to set parameters. And sometimes you have to boot out the stuff that's not working for you. Whether it's food, whether it's people, whether it's whatever it is. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. You only live here once. Okay? Questions, thoughts, arguments? Come on, Heather, you got to have something to say. You've never been quiet all the time.
I'm always quiet. What are you
Oh,
talking
yeah, right.
about?
You just say that because people don't know you.
I know her, John.
I know you do. But you're not the quietest one either, so there.
I don't know
Right.
where she gets it from.
I don't either.
I'm muting her now.
Any questions? No? Okay. Hope you pick some up.
Elaine.
Oh, Elaine, how are you? Oh, you did, okay. Did you put it in there? Okay, we're gonna do our drawings like we do every class. You gotta be on board and answer the call if your name is drawn. So if you're up in the other room and somebody has to go get you, it's too late.